So I came up with the bright idea to do 4 looks, 4 palettes for the Why You Don't Need collection, and here we are. So what's up, everyone? It is your girl, Gelbeauty-QM here, aka Grace Honey, and today we're gonna get into Why You Don't Need 4 Looks, 4 Palettes edition. So palettes, and I have more palettes on the Fenty Cosmetics palette that somebody had told me about earlier. So let's start off with that one, since that's the one I gave the least amount of looks with. But if you have not been here before, hello, my name is Gelbeauty-QM, aka Grace, and I do lots of videos like this. It should be a whole like playlist possibly popping up over here, or at least pictures of some of the ones I did recently, just in case you're interested in stuff like that. But this time it was so many at one time, so I was like, we just gonna put them all together in one video, because child, I don't have time, child. So it should be chapters down below to tell you like which one is gonna be which and all that cute stuff there, because yeah, I can't. So if you're interested in stuff like that and you love a good dupe moment, then this is definitely the place for you. I do the new makeup releases like everyone else does. I just started doing them consistently this year, and then I just try a lot of the newest makeup that hits the market, and I love a good indie eyeshadow palette moment along with a luxury complexion product, honey. But without further ado, like I said, let's get into this. We're gonna start off with the what is it, what did I say, Cradled in Ice palette. That should be over here somewhere. Now, originally I was telling y'all I feel like it was kind of similar to this one, and upon further looking at it, they're not exact, but it still has like a lot of blue going on with it, and y'all know that one's blue. So I hope I'm holding it where you see both of them in a decent amount of space. I don't know, I might have to edit it, but yeah. So as you can see, this was a lot of blue, and they just came out with a lot of blue one as well. So I'm kind of like, it's kind of like similar. If you already have this, maybe you don't need that, but that one has more neutrals in it, and this one has more like of a yellow feel to it. So I'm confused as to why they put them close together, but she might have had this one already in the works and then just had to push that one out first or whatever. I don't know, but they're really similar, so y'all know it's gonna be in the 5 brands to dupe themselves with, honey. Next, I have the Soul Blooming palette from Nabla. This was the palette that I thought of initially when I thought of this being similar to the one I'm showing y'all now. Unfortunately, I don't think you can get this one in America. I don't ever remember this one coming to Ulta. They just have it on their official website. So this, if you were interested in this one, you'd have to go to their official website to get it. But as you can see, this one has a little more purplish bluish than actual blue. But this was the initial palette I thought of when I thought of this, because it has a lot of those like rosy tones, as you can see, and it has like a pop of blue in it. So if you're more into the neutrally tones with a pop of blue, then you might like this one a little bit better. But the one that caught me off guard, that I was surprised by, that I pulled out in the middle of the night tonight, is the Blueberry Muffin palette from BH Cosmetics. Because I feel like it gives some of the feels of that, because it does have a little couple of neutral moments here and a couple of those deeper tone shades. So it's like, if you have the Blueberry Muffin, you might not even need to like look this palette's way, because it's giving very much Blueberry Muffin. I'm sorry, it's hard to hold this because it's reflective because of the foolishness. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to make it reflective. Like, people aren't going to try to show it in the video. Okay, I'll try to leave it right there, and hopefully that's working out for us. But yeah, like, it gives me very much Blueberry Muffin vibe with a little bit more neutral to it, because Blueberry Muffin does have a little bit of neutral, like this neutral part right here, and these kind of like brownish bluish tones to it. But like, it gives very much Blueberry Muffin vibes in my personal opinion. So if you have Blueberry Muffin, I don't feel like you necessarily need to get this one. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, I don't have it in person, so I can't guarantee that, but I would definitely say Blueberry Muffin is a good alternative for you. And I think this is the one we're going to use in the video, just to see, because I've been hearing people talking about finding this at TJ Maxx and stuff, so you might be able to find it at TJ Maxx. It might still be on Beauty Bay. I do not know, do I quote me, but this is the one I'm going to go with for that palette. The last one I have to talk about, now I feel like this would be more of a companion palette for this palette. It's not similar. I feel like it gives similar vibes. So in my personal opinion, which is why I picked it out, this is Jewels and Gems from Ulta. So this is what she looks like. Now I will say this one isn't giving exact, like I said. To me it gives similar, because it has like the purplish kind of bluish, it's like purplish pinkish type tones to it, and it has like the bluish grayish type tones. So I figured it might be a good alternative. Now, not gonna be exact just because it's more like purple, pink, deeper grayish blues, and that's more of traditional blues with like lighter pinks and a little bit of neutral. So it could be a good alternative if you already own this and want a similar vibe, so that way you don't feel like you have to go out and get this blue and pink palette, because you can use this purple, bluish, grayish, I guess, color story instead. So I wanted to show this one as an alternative as well. But the two I recommend most likely being closest to it that I have in my collection is Soul Blooming from Nabla, and then Blueberry Muffin, which is the one we're going to use in this video today. So let's get into Natasha, child, because she out here trying to play in our faces. How you got 9 shades from the original palette, but then somehow think I should buy this palette? It's 9 shades from this original palette in your palette. Now I think it's only like 15 shades in here, so the fact that it's only 6 shades missing out of this palette and I'm supposed to buy that, like, why, Natasha? Girl, why? I always have to hold it like this because my gold shade right here is falling out of the pan. So, but yeah, and then she didn't even take the fun cool shades that made that palette unique, like these bluish green shades and like the mustard shade. Like none of that is in here. So it's like you're just trying to sell me a neutral palette all over again, like you don't already have 15 neutral palettes in your collection. Like you came out with the cool tone one before, then you have like this one, then you have, what's the other neutral one, the Biba and some other stuff. It's like, girl, I didn't need all these palettes. So if you have the original gold palettes, you already know that you do not need this new palette. I know my girl Daph's Makeup said that she didn't buy it and she just put out her gold palette. I'm like, girl, I think you just pull out the gold palette. You're buying this palette as well. I don't know about the Fantasy Cosmetica one because I have those other two that are similar, but I really want to try it against Blueberry Muffin, so I might end up getting it just to see if my theory is correct. The last one I have to compare to this, of course, I already gave you a video on. I gave you an Instagram post on it. If you don't follow Gelbeauty except on Instagram, you should, but I gave you a post on Instagram telling you about why you didn't need to, you know, pick up this palette per se. Now, I didn't know this palette was coming out. I just knew it looked really similar to the gold palette. And this is the Sigma Beauty Ambiance palette. So this is what she looks like alongside that palette. As you can see, it has quite similar tones. And this one obviously is going to be more affordable for you because Sigma always has great deals. And then you can use the influencer's code. My code is Gelbeauty. They took the 87 off, so it's just Gelbeauty if you're interested in purchasing this palette. But I think this is really nice quality. I think Sigma has really nice quality eyeshadows. And if you were interested in picking it up, Sigma always usually has a pretty good deal. Like right now they have a deal on buying 2 neutral palettes and you get a percentage off. And then I think you can use my code on top of that. Don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure. But that would make it a pretty good deal. And if you like neutrals in general, you can get the cool tone palette that they just came out with, the cool neutrals. And then you can have this warm tone palette as well and have a good majority of neutrals to wear to work every day. So that might be a good alternative for you. This one right here. And this is the one I'm going to use in the video and try to make a similar look. So now when it comes to actually picking up the palette, I will put the original gold palette against the golden palette just to see if the formula of the shadows is the same. This one is kind of old though, so just keep that in mind. It may not perform 100%, but this is the one we're going to use. So far, when it comes to the Cradle of the Dragon, I think that was called, we're going to use the Blueberry Muffin from BH Cosmetics. And then when it comes to the golden palette from Natasha Denona, we're going to use the Sigma Ambiance palette to see the similarities in both of those. Let's move on to the next palette. So that's going to be the, it should be the Wicked Widow of the Crows palette over here. Now I don't have that many palettes to compare to this because I don't really use tones like this that often to need palettes to compare to this. However, I have 3 palettes in mind. 2 of them are from Glam Light. The male palette that I am referring to, of course, is the Waiting Room palette. Where is it? Oh, it's directly behind me. Yeah, so the Waiting Room from their Beetlejuice collection. This is a classic collection. Everybody was obsessed with this when it came out. And I feel like it has a lot of similar tones. Now, it doesn't have the icy blue. I don't think any of these palettes are going to have that icy blue. That's what makes that palette unique. But, sorry, I'm holding the wrong spot. I feel like this palette still looks quite similar to the one that you see above when it comes to like the grays and the black and the white and the red. So if you're just mainly concerned about those colors, I feel like you could buy a couple of singles to pull off the rest of this palette and you don't have to really be worried about having to actually have this palette. And yes, unless you're just a fan of the Crows. Now, if you're a fan of the Crows, I'm not trying to get you to not buy. I'm just saying if you were interested in the color story, you might be able to pull a couple of singles or pull those colors out of another palette that you already have, use this palette, and then you don't have to go out and buy a brand new product. So that was my whole thought process behind talking about this palette and why you don't necessarily need it. So the next one I have to talk about is the, what is this one called? The Dream Master from Glam Light. Y'all know they went crazy last year on Halloween. They had like 4 different Halloween collections or whatever. It was 3 or it was 4. I'm not exactly sure. I feel like it was 4 because it was the Ghostface, excuse me. Then there was the Friday the 13th. Then there was Nightmare on Elm Street. And I feel like there was another one that I'm just not thinking about at this point in time because I don't think I bought that one. But anyway, that's enough, right? Anyway, this is what it looks like. But this is what she looks like. Again, it has a lot of those same colors. It has the silver, it has the black, it has the red. So it has a lot of those same similar tones too. You don't really need that. Again, like I said, you can put some blues with it, makes you feel better. Now, but that one, you'd have to put the taupey shades with it too. However, if you get the last one that we're going to talk about, which is the Friday the 13th palette, then I feel like you don't need to do that. Because as you can see, it has a lot of those tones in that palette. Now, the blues in here are deeper than the blues in there. But you get those kind of like neutrally toned shades. You get a little bit of red. The blue you get is not matching that. And you get like a little bit of green moment. But I still feel like it's giving similar vibes. So I actually feel like this is the one we're going to use because it has the majority of the colors, even though the colors are kind of like deeper and grungier as opposed to the brighter blues in that palette. I feel like this still has a majority of the shades that the other palettes didn't have, because originally I planned on using the Dream Master palette, but I think we're going to end up going with this Friday the 13th. So Friday the 13th is the one we're going to do for the Crow's palette from Ulta Beauty. I'm still waiting on my Resurrection palettes to come from them for their holiday collection. So I'm wondering where that is and if it's coming soon, because they said it was supposed to come within, I think, like a couple of months, and it still hasn't shown up yet. So I'm interested to see what my package went, because I ordered like 3 palettes from them that were on pre-order, I think. But you know, we're just trying to be patient and wait it out. So the last one I have to talk about is the one I was most excited about, and I am going to purchase as well. So I'm purchasing 3 of the 4. The only one I'm not purchasing is the Wicked Beauty palette, and that's just because I ordered some stuff before and I still haven't got it, so I don't want to keep dropping money. Aside from the fact that I'm not necessarily crazy about the color story, and I already have color stories that are similar, so it makes no sense to do that. So I have a few palettes, and we're going to start off with their palette as to why you don't need this palette. Then I had some other ones in my collection that I told you all in that video I feel like was similar. But yeah, you see it right here. It literally looks like the colors from the Rick and Morty palette. Like, they always be out here duping themselves. Just why? You see these colors? You see how many of those colors are really similar to these colors? Like, the only thing different is like they have that neutral blackish brown in there. And even like with this shade, I feel like it's really similar. So I feel like this palette is really similar. If you didn't want to support them because of Rick and Morty though, and you like this color story, then I feel like it would be a good time for you to grab the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air one, because it's like you don't want, you know, you didn't want to support because of Rick and Morty. Even though I heard the guy didn't work with them anymore and they had gotten rid of him, so he wasn't going to profit from this collection. I know some people still didn't want to buy it. So if you didn't get your hands on it because of that, and you didn't find it at TJ Maxx, because I know some people found it at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, which I was super jealous of, because I love this palette and I would love to have a backup of it, even though we both know I'm not going to use this one up. But be that as it may, you could go ahead and grab this Fresh Prince of Bel-Air one now, because it's definitely giving the vibes of that. And I love the color story of this. It would be nice to have a condensed version of this, but I am definitely going to compare this to that palette when I get it. So needless to say, we're not going to use this one in this video, because I need to compare it to when I get the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air collection, which I think launches on the 22nd. I believe that's what the message said. Do not quote me, I do not know. But I have other palettes in my collection that I felt looked somewhat similar, so I wanted to point them out. So you got the 1-Up palette from Lethal Cosmetics. I feel like it's a good like alternative and gives like similar colors. Now it does not have the neon, like I feel like their neon green is brighter than the green in this one, and it does not have like that brownish black shade in it. But I feel like the other shades are here. Like it has the pink, and it has the purple, and it has the blue, and then it has like that darkish blue, and then it has like the green. So it does have some similar tones and some similar shimmers. The only thing is the shimmers in here shift. I don't know how the shimmers are working in the Glam Light palette, so just keep that in mind when I'm telling you all and like showing this in video. I don't know how the shimmers are working in the Glam Light one, so I'm not going to try to speculate or pretend. They might be different. I don't remember seeing Miss Giselle, that's the owner of Glam Light, giving swatches of it as of yet. She might have since I film this video, I don't know, but this is the one I was thinking about using for this particular video, just because I feel like it has a good majority of the colors in it. So it's like you don't really, you know, need it because it has all those colors in it. But yeah, so y'all know immediately I told you all this reminded me of my Blend Bunny Lure palette. Now initially it did. I told you all this one was going to be a little more toned down and more pastel-y, and this one is a little more neon, so that's the only difference to me. But otherwise I feel like they have a lot of similar tones. Like it has the blues, it has the greens, it has the purples, it even has the little neutral section over here, it has the pinks. It just has like a turquoisey section here in addition to the blue, as opposed to the Glam Light one not having it. And like I said, that's giving more neon and this is giving more pastel. So it's not exact, but I feel like this would pair very nicely with that palette, because if you just wanted to pop a neon in the inner corner, or you wanted neon for your crease to give like a bright crease moment, but the rest of the kind of neutralish tones, I feel like this palette would pair really nicely with it. It's not going to be exact, but I feel like it's a good pairing palette. And so I actually ended up having 2 more palettes that I felt like went nicely with this collection, or had some similarities to it. Now this one again would just be a companion palette, because as you can see it has the nice neon colors on the bottom, but a lot of the other colors are deeper, or like other tones to work with, or pastels at the top. So to me this is just more of a companion palette, if you will. You don't have to necessarily actually, you know, use it with that palette or if you just were concerned about the neons in that palette, you might be able to just use the neons that you have in this palette. Unfortunately, this palette doesn't exist anymore, so I definitely wouldn't use this because I wouldn't want to tease it in people's faces and then you can't get it. But it's definitely giving similar vibes, in my personal opinion. It gives similar vibes. So if you just wanted bright neon mattes and you already own this, you don't need to get the Glam Light palette. Those are all the palettes I had to talk about. So just for the recap one last time before I go away and start doing eye looks. Now I don't have any particular order I'm gonna do them in. It's not like I'm necessarily gonna do it in the order that I showed you the palettes in. But for the last palette we just talked about, which is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, we're gonna use the 1-Up palette from Lethal Cosmetics, just because it looks really similar. For Natasha's palette, we're gonna use the Ambiance palette from Sigma. And then for the, from Fantasy Cosmetica, we're gonna use the Blueberry Muffin palette. And then for the Crows palette from Wicked Widow Beauty, we're gonna use the Friday the 13th palette from Glam Light. So I'm gonna go off camera, get my life in order, figure out what I'm gonna do. I feel like I'm gonna do the colorful one last because that's gonna be my favorite one to do, and that's the one I'm gonna want to wear the longest. But let me zoom in here real quick and keep, like, if you're curious what's on my eyes right now, I use the Mega by Mario Cool Neutrals palette, and then I just put a shade from the Viseart, what do you call it, the Koi palette. It's like the new Koi palette, not the original one, the second one they came out with in the more mid-size style. And then I have the NYX yellow eyeliner on, and my lips is the Glam Light Hershey's collection, the milk chocolate one, not the cookies and cream. I'm wearing the Danessa Myricks low light highlighter, and that's pretty much it. I have on the glowy bronzer from Giorgio Armani. It finally came to Sephora if anyone was interested and didn't want to buy it from Nordstrom's. I'll try to remember to link that down below. But I'll be right back with whatever eye look I choose first. Okay, go. Okay. I hope you're feeling the extraness of whatever this is, because I don't even know what this is. No, but I decided to just use these shades out of the palette. I haven't put the silver in the corner yet. I figured I'd wait till we get done with everything. So these are the shades I chose from the Friday the 13th palette. So we're doing the Crows Why You Don't Need section of the video now. I figured I'd start off with that one. So I'm gonna start off with the shade Masked. So I took the shade Masked, that's our transition shade. Then I put the Camp Blood and J Voorhees in the crease. Then I put the shade F13 on the outer V. The shade Summer Camp is on the lid, and then the shade Jason Lives is what we're gonna put in the inner corner. So I just started kind of tapping it up here and blended it out. So like I said, I didn't know what the hell I asked what to do. I ended up coming with whatever this smoky, like, eye look situation is. I like it. I definitely feel like it's unique to something I would normally do. So I tried to give y'all a couple of, I'm gonna try to give y'all a couple unique looks and then do a couple just staples, because I'm like, it's the middle of the night and I'm tired. And I have not been to sleep. I told you all I had my cousin's funeral, so I came back since I knew I had the day off from work today, after having not really slept that much, and drove like all the way over here with Adriangameover just to film these 4 eye looks. I have a perfume video I need to do after this, and I did a foundation, a battle of the brands situation too. So I'm just over here like, ugh, Lord Jesus. I'm like, fix it, Jesus. I just sleep is not my friend. We have not known each other in years. It's like we just separated couple who like live in the same house but barely see each other. Like that. That's who sleep is to me. Okay, that's who she is. No, but yeah, I definitely don't get enough of it, and I should definitely try to get more. I be trying, but I always have something to do, and you know. So I just gotta do it. So I'm gonna cut the crease with some eyeshadow primer. I'm using the Glam Light one because we're using a Glam Light palette and it's just a white icing shade, and then we'll get into the rest of what I did. Okay, y'all, so now we're gonna go to shade Jason Voorhees, and it just says J Voorhees. I don't know if like the name Jason Voorhees is trademarked and that's why, or what's going on with that, but I just kind of tried to pat that like right in the middle here. I don't know what I was thinking with this. I thought it would look a nice little weird like ombre or halo crease, if you will. And I don't think I've done a halo crease in a while. I think I've done this technique before, like in the past, but I haven't done it like a super long time, so I wanted to do it again because I thought it'd be fun. So now we're gonna take the shade Camp Blood and just putting it with the front of the eye. Although I felt like this gave a little bit like Christmas vibes just because the colors I chose. That's why I tried to incorporate other colors like the black and the you know, the navy bluish shade. Not to mention with this palette, I will say the downside is you don't get a lot of transition shades. Like the transition shade that's in here is more of like a mauve tone shade. If you all did not know, that shade is not like a neutralish brown shade like it looks. It is actually a mauve tone shade, and there's like a little mauve tone section here, which I thought was interesting to add to like a smoky palette. But it's like I figured she was still trying to get in like a little bit of like everyday wear colors in here if you want to just do like a smoky eye or a simple eye for the daytime and turn it into smokiness with the like the black that's I'm gonna put on the outer V. I figured that was the purpose of it. I honestly don't know, but I was like, you know, I was trying to think outside the box and figure out what I thought she was trying to do with that. I'm gonna put a little bit more mask to that like blue we started off with over the top here, just kind of like dust around everything, see how it goes and all that stuff, whatever. So yeah, do that. If I kind of like blending right this little edge here and then going down. So I'm still trying to keep my signature cat shape. I'm just trying to like do it in a little bit of a different way to where it's not all just black on the outer V. I want you to see a little bit of red popping through. So that's why I'm kind of like shaping it the way I am, going like underneath the red a little bit with the black. But you know, trying to make it work. Trying to make it work. You know, got go underneath there. And I'm probably gonna put a little bit more black on the outer V, just I mean a little more red on the outer V, that camp blood shade, just to make sure we got enough and it's vibrant enough for you to still see, even though like the black has been added on, because I still want the red on the outer and inner part to be vibrant, even though we have like these darker grungier shades going on. So make sure I do that. Okay, now we've done that, let's get some glitter glue. Now I decided I was gonna do the white you call it the white eyeliner, just because I thought it'd be something different and fun too. Because normally y'all know how to put a colorful and sparkly extra one, but I decided to do white because I thought that'd be fun. Okay, we're gonna take the shade Summer Camp now. That's the shade that I put all over the lid, and then we'll put the inner corner shades in, and I'll do some eyeliner off camera and take my cute little, I think I'm sexy thumbnail picture and move on to the next. So I think next I'll do a neutral one, just because I did such a smoky like band power in your face look. We'll tone it down a bit and do the Natasha Denona golden palette, like dupe moment, with the Sigma Ambiance palette. Are y'all excited about this Fresh Prince of Bel-Air palette though? That we're gonna be doing a dupe for in this video as well. Cause I'm not even front. I am excited about that one. I feel like it screams perfect for summer and it's giving a nice little neon moment. So I'm here for it. It's a vibe. It's real cute, and I'm just like, yes, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. But yeah, so this is what we're working with. As you can see, I tried to do something a little unique and different to me. I'm hoping you're enjoying it and like what you saw, girl. You take the Sigma E30 pencil brush and just put that in the inner corner real quick with the shade Jason Live, that bright silver. I feel like the bright silver and then like the white eyeliner will give it like a nice like contrasting moment, if you will, and be real cute and whatnot. So this is what we're working with. I must say I'm quite enjoying it and the uniqueness of it. I'm thinking about putting on a red lip just for the thumbnail. I don't know, we'll see. I'm supposed to be testing out this lip balm, so I probably won't, just to make sure we get our wear test in. So if I don't change it, that's why. But this is the finished look for the Crow palette, and I think it turned out nice considering I tried something different. So I'll be right back with you all. Okay, girl? Okay. Okay, so I tried something a little different, like with a graphic liner situation. I got the blue, I got the purple in between, and I got the like white on top and on the back. So I thought that'd be something cool and different for us to try. Here are the swatches that I chose from the Blueberry Muffin palette. So we're doing the Cradle of the Fenty Cosmetics palette. I always forget the exact name of it, but these are the shades I chose from Blueberry Muffin for us to work out. So this one and this one are supposed to be the more pinky tone shades that they have in that palette, and the rest y'all know is blue and it has a little bit of brown. So that's what I chose and based upon. So I start 350 degrees is the outer V shade we used. I used the shade Delish in our crease, as well as So Good in our crease. Then I took the shade Craves and put that in the inner corner, and the shade Yummy is what's all over the lid. So That's what we're working with today. So I'm starting with the shade Fluffy. That's the like peachy, more pinky tone shade that they had in here, because they don't have that many in here. Obviously this will be a blueberry muffin palette, but they did give like a little here and there, just like I feel like this new Fenty Cosmetics palette gets a little bit here and there. So I was like, I want to like accent both of those. So I'll do the neutral eye look tomorrow when I get off work, just so I only have like one left, or I might just wait till Thursday and do it, because this video isn't going up to like Saturday, so it's not like, you know, I have to be in a rush and I can edit the majority of these parts throughout the day. It's to come, but I need to do my new makeup releases before I finish editing this one. So I'm telling y'all, lately I just feel like I fall further and further behind. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not feeling it. Like, I don't be falling this type of behind, but it's just, you know, getting outrageous. And with the amount of stuff that people launch into, it's like, it's hard to like, you know, not fall behind with all of what's going on. So we start with the shade Delish. That's the light blue that I have toward the very front of my eye. We're just gonna start patting her on. So these do oxidized, which I guess is kind of good or bad depending on how you look at it, because if you want it to be true to the color that's in the pan, it's not gonna be true to that color. But if you want it to be a little deeper than that color, and that's a little too bright for you, then I guess it'd be good for you in that sense. I was of course disappointed, because I'm like, I want it to be whatever colors in the pan, because it's like I had a vision if I look at my mind based upon those colors. So when it doesn't like look the color it's supposed to in the pan, I feel some type of way. Okay, some type of way, make me feel some type of way. It's not too bad. My whole thing is I don't know. We don't know if the Fenty Cosmetics one is going to do that. It looks similar to the blueberry muffin and some other stuff I already have. And since they just came out with a blue palette recently, I'm like, I don't need a lot of blue palettes in my collection. Although y'all know I'm a blue, green, and purple palette connoisseur. Like those are the colors I usually gravitate towards when I do eye looks. So it's like I can see myself definitely picking up in the future, like I've done with other Fenty Cosmetics palettes in the past, like the Bard palette. Or the Bard palette, I didn't rush out and get that when it first came out. I got it when she had a sale during like, I think it was Black Friday or Memorial Day or Labor Day. One of those holidays, 4th of July, I ended up picking it up at a discount. And I like the palette just fine. In fact, I actually used it more than I expected it to, giving its color story, because it's one of those more warm tone ones. And y'all know, she's a cool tone queen. So it's not, you know, like one of those I'm just rushing and reaching out to go get. But take 360 degrees now that we use so good, and just put that on the outer V and start working it in. You know, thought it'd be real cute. If you haven't subscribed by now, I don't know why not. You sat here and watched 2 eyeshadow looks so far, and sat through my whole little spiel on why I was comparing stuff to other stuff and why I picked out what I picked out. So clearly you're intrigued, dear. So just try to hit the button. Just hit the subscribe button. So we'll use the shade Yummy on the lid. And then we're going to use Cravings in the inner corner. So Yummy is the more bluish of the 2 shades, of course. I think it has like a bluish purple type of shift to it. But, you know, she's cute. She's giving, I'm living, I'm here for it. It's a vibe. So it's one of my favorite shades in here. I like the like deep blue shades too, but you know, the Fenty Cosmetics doesn't have those, and that's what we're supposed to be, you know, inspired by. So we're not about to like just be derailing and changing just because of certain stuff I like. I can do that on my own time. This is supposed to be helping you all realize that if you have this palette, you don't necessarily need the other one. So that's what we're working on. I need to put a little bit more brown on the outer V. Let's do that real quick and cute. Like y'all know, I just like to kind of blend everything together and make sure it all looks airbrushed and as flawless as I can make it look. Yes, honey. So, we're working with it's looking real cute, and then we're gonna go ahead and use Cravings in the inner corner. And that's the more pinkish tone. At least when you swatch, when you look at it in the pan, it looks more pinky tone, but now when you put it on, it looks a little bit more silverish with a little bit of pink undertone, which, like I said, disappointed me a little bit because I wanted more of that pink to pop out. But you know, I gotta give you what it's giving me, so that's what I'm giving you, what it's giving me. Thank you. So this is finished eye with the cool, unique graphic eyeliner, if you will. I'm gonna go off camera, get my life in order, and then we'll come back and do the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air do, which is going to be the 1-Up palette from Lethal Cosmetics. So I'll be right back. Okay, girl? Okay. I figured I'd keep it simple enough and just do like little ombre effects toward the end, because I love all the matte colors that are in this palette. That's what makes it unique and fun to me. So I just kind of like put all those together and made it work out. So this is what we're working with. I did swatch the other green to show you it's not the same as this one, but there is a green that I feel like is similar to this one. Or you may be able to combine both if you feel like this green doesn't look similar to the one in the Glam Light picture that I showed you all earlier. But yeah, so this is the pink shimmer shade from the what is it, One Up palette, and then I just took all the fun neon shades and I ran this one on lower lash line because I knew this was the last video I had to do for the night. So I'm trying to figure out what graphic line I want to use. I was thinking about using the green, but now I kind of don't know if I want to use any graphic liner because I feel like we already got enough color going on, so I don't necessarily need to. So I'm gonna start off with the shade Insert Coin. That's the lightest like green shade that I put toward the front because that's when I was concerned about not working out for me the most. So I was like, I want to make sure I had enough like white eyeshadow base down to make sure that she, you know, worked out nicely and looked nicely on the lid. So I just tried to take it like 1/4 of the way. I tried to take, a 1/3 of the way. I tried to take each one of them 1/3 of the way to make sure that I got enough color all over the lid for each look, or each section for the look, is what I meant to say. They had a transition shade in here just for you to be able to do, but it's like I was gonna grab one for another palette, but I was trying to stay true to the palette, so that's why it's just like, you know, a bunch underneath my brow and everywhere else, because like I didn't have a transition shade to go in with, because this palette does not have a transition shade, and the other one I feel like isn't gonna really have one either. So that's just something to keep in mind with either one of these palettes. Like you'll have to dip into another palette for a transition shade. We're gonna take combo now, but I figure, you know, you won't mind too much as long as you're getting like the good neon shades that work for your skin tone. And I feel like the neons from Glam Light are gonna be just as nice, because I remember the Rick and Morty palette that I also told you all earlier in this video was a dupe for this palette. So I feel like with both of those it'll be like fine. I'm just ready to have to put all those combos together, all the palettes, to show you all the palette over the palette and all that. I am really dreading doing that, like you don't even understand. Like that's the only thing I hate about doing why you don't need videos. I have to come up with all the mock-ups and all that and then insert all the pictures. That's really why I just don't like to do makeup releases, because you have to post in a million pictures. If I didn't have to put in a million pictures, y'all, I would be fine with those videos. Like that's it. Literally my only complaint about those videos. Like you have to do all of that other stuff I just named, and I'm like, I don't like to do that part. So that's what kind of makes me want to stray away and not do makeup releases. Now we're gonna use Joystick. So I feel like this is one that worked best for the outer V, just because it's the deepest of all the shades, and I felt like it would work, you know, like as far as having like the dark outer V, but it's still a nice decent ombre effect, and I feel like it looks like a nice ombre effect overall. I mean, like putting this on the outer V and making all the other shades more like, you know, prominent, if you will, for lack of a better term. So I did take a clean brush and just dust. So this brush is clean. I just dusted like everywhere, like all around here, and then maybe like the lower lash line. So I'm going to do a little bit more toward the front of the eye, and then I'll put the pink in the inner corner, and I'll come back to you all with the last look, which will be the Ambiance palette from Sigma to go with the gold. Sorry, the golden palette that Natasha Denona's coming out, but I keep forgetting, like, this isn't the gold palette anymore. It's the golden one. It's just giving really similar vibes to the gold. So I think that's why I'm getting like a little confused there. And then I'll decide about the graphic line. What if I'm feeling like I should just put one just because I did the other ones, but at the same time I'm like, I don't want to keep putting the same colors. That's what I'm thinking. I'll leave it off. I don't know. I'm gonna take the shade Game Over. That's like the pink that's just the gold. I don't know what the shimmer shades are in the Glam Light one. They might have posted swatches since I took my picture, but I just went off the picture I had, and y'all, I told y'all I didn't get any sleep today. I'm very tired, and I still need to go home and try to get some sleep and try to finish editing this video that I wanted to go up tomorrow. I was gonna try to edit earlier tonight, but I didn't get home as early as I expected to. So these are the eyes we're working with. Is the finished eye for the Glam Light and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Why You Don't Need, featuring the Lethal Cosmetics One Up palette. So that's what we're working with, and I will see you all for our last look with the Sigma Ambiance palette for the golden palette. So I'll be right back. Okay, girl? Okay. So this is the eye we're working with for the Natasha Denona gold palette, if you will. Here are the shades. Ignore the pink that's on my hand. That's the highlight in the shade Unbothered from Danessa Myricks. So this shade is called Oasis. This is Enriched. This is Marigold. And this is Sunflower. And those are the shades that I use to duplicate the look from the gold. I don't get time to edit them. I like to use like my older content so that way you at least still have something, you know. Start off with the shade Oasis. Of course, that's our transition shade. It's a nice goldy shade. So my Amy Loves palette showed up today. I took some of the palettes home that look similar to it though, unfortunately. So I don't have a whole bunch to show, but I will show them in the palette. What do you call it? In the reel or whatever. The palette, no, the palette shorts that I do with the comparisons because I left some of them at home. I'll have to do that probably tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm taking the shade Enriched now, just putting it on the outer V. I actually don't have a crease shade, which is weird for me because I'm used to having one, and I'm like, what? Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's go on to Sunflower. I mean, it's quite the stunning gold shade. I will admit, it's nice metallic gold, but it's not like really shimmery reflective one, but it gives a good sense of, you know, gold. Now y'all know the drill. We gotta go back in with brown on the outer V, Enriched, and flop it. I'm gonna try to remember to put chapters in, y'all. I'm going to try. I mean, I know it automatically doesn't, but sometimes it gets like the names wrong with whatever it is you're talking about, and then there's that whole situation. So I'll try. I make no promises because I'm me, but I will try. Put the shade Marigold in my inner corner. This is what we're working with. So back you on up and you can talk about all four of these palettes now that I have done all the looks. So which palette look was your favorite? I have to say, I want to say my favorite were like the first two, believe it or not. So that would be the Crow palette dupe, which is the Friday the 13th palette from Glamlight and Friday the 13th. And then the one I did with the Blueberry Muffin palette for the Cradled in Ice palette. I finally got the name of the palette right. It's the Fenty Cosmetics Cradled in Ice palette. I did end up ordering it this week. I saw Angie do her video and I thought it was nice, and I wanted to give y'all a comparison of it to the actual Blueberry Muffin for the people who have Blueberry Muffin, because I saw that it's still up on Beauty Bay. It says it's out of stock. I don't know if that means they're going to bring it back on Beauty Bay and it's just not coming back to America because they're owned by Makeup Revolution. So I wanted to give you all that video in particular for you to have the opportunity to see how similar both palettes are to each other. So I did order it sooner than I expected it to, but that's okay. Y'all know I love a blue palette. I'm fine with it. Plus we can compare it to the Wizards palette. They haven't said anything else about Natasha's palette, and when it's supposed to actually come out, people just randomly found it on their website. So I'm assuming she'll send out the email soon unless you pre-order from her website like she normally does. However, you're a person like Rush and get it from her website, you can. And I have a code, is Gelbeauty-QM. My Adept palette just arrived today, so I'm going to do a look with that, the Amy Loves palette. No, I'm sorry, it showed up yesterday, but I'm going to do a look with it. This is what she looks like. I know some people said this looked really similar to the Cradle and Ice palette too, so I'll show them when it gets here. It has not gotten here yet, so I cannot show it to you unfortunately yet, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I enjoyed making this video for you all, and in the future I might do it like this instead of trying to you know, do individual separate videos if a lot come out at one time that I feel like are similar to other things. Since you all said you enjoyed it in new makeup releases, I hope you enjoyed seeing the actual eye looks today. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. Make sure you subscribe. My membership is down below if you're interested. Again, I have a whole like list of these videos that I've done. There's a whole playlist dedicated to it if you're interested in more ideas on palettes. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.